Every football manager, like any human being, has got some strengths and weaknesses. Sir Alex Ferguson was a good man manager, but his tactics at times, not the best, not the most convincing. So anyway, we're here to talk Erik ten Hag. Now, Erik ten Hag, the boss of Manchester United, has obviously proved to us how good a coach he is, how good a manager he can be. But also, we have seen some elements we are questioning, and we are saying, so here I am to give you the 5 biggest weaknesses of Erik ten Hag. I hope you agree with me. You can give me yours as well in the comment section, and you can also disagree with me. It's okay, guys. These are my opinions. I might be wrong. I might be seeing things differently, but you can give me yours. Are you ready for them? Number 5, and for me, this is the biggest problem that Erik ten Hag has: his favoritism. Yes, and it sounds funny saying a Manchester United manager favors certain players, but I guess it's a human thing. I think if you're human, at times you are attached to certain people for reasons that you may not even be able to explain, or for even obvious reasons. Now, in this case, for Erik ten Hag, case in point is Anthony Dos Santos, who, by the way, we are saying Benvenu, welcome back to the team. He's back into the squad, training. He trained at Carrington. I don't expect him to be in the game today, to be honest, versus Crystal Palace. But people, even before his troubles with the girlfriends and all, Anthony was playing, given chances, and many people will feel he was given one too many chances, but never really delivered. Never really has not really delivered. Yet he was bought for quite a lot of money. But Ten Hag keeps starting him, putting him there, and sometimes people feel he has been given so many chances ahead of players like Pelistri, who only came to start to start, appearing in our first 11 after Anthony Dos Santos was forced out of the squad. So, does it look good on Ten Hag? Obviously not. There are times we have felt he should have said, no, Anthony, you're not performing. Let us give chances to other players to perform. But if you look at it on the other side, would you blame him? If you were Erik Ten Hag, you brought this young boy, Anthony Dos Santos. You've worked with him as a young boy from Ajax. Certainly, you're going to have a certain connection with him, but also you want your signings to work. So, naturally, you might favor them. Naturally, you might favor them. Is that the professional thing to do? No. But again, professionalism, although at times is overrated, I think, because I mean, you're human first before you're professional. So, that is number 1, favoritism. Number 2, and number 2 might sort of relate to number 4 might sort of relate to number 5. Favoritism, but one can call it being over patient, and that is a problem. Again, over patience. Now, let's say with Anthony, it's favoritism, but you can't say it's favoritism with Marcus Rashford, our highest paid player. He's not performing, if you ask me, to the expectations. He's always flattering to deceive, but he has been so patient with him. I feel like Marcus Rashford should have been warming the bench like 2 or 3 games ago. He should have been on the bench. But Erik ten Hag is over patient with him. He rested him for these, cup games, for the cup game, but was it because he was trying to send a message to him, or was it actually a case of him again rotating him, knowing he needs his player rested, his most paid player rested for a Premier League game against the same team, Crystal Palace? Anyway, whichever way you look at it, I think Erik ten Hag is over patient with players, and that is a problem. He has been so patient with Rashford, but so patient, even more patient with players like Christian Eriksen and Scott McTominay, who honestly, to be fair, are not performing, are they? They are not performing, let's be honest. He has been so patient with them. So for me, that's another weakness. At this level, when you want results, you may not want to be so patient. Yeah, patience is good, it's okay, but over patience isn't. So Ten Hag at times looks over patient. That's problem number 4. Number 3, and this is a bit again unfair, but yeah, I think I see it at times. I feel like Ten Hag, and whereas I think this is what we need as United. I think at times he has proved to be a little too ruthless with his decisions. with his reactions, a bit reactionary, and we don't know what happens there. We don't know the details. But again, as a manager of a big club, given the situation we are in as Manchester United, certain things maybe could have been handled way, a bit slower and differently. I'll give you an example. I mean, you've been here for just over a year, but you've let go of Cristiano Ronaldo in the manner he left. Now, that was such a brutal, ruthless manner. And I'll tell you, whereas we love Erik Ten Hag, there are so many supporters out there who will not be forgiving to Ten Hag for how he treated Cristiano Ronaldo. There are quite a number of them, and I'm sure one of you could be you could be one of those. So his ruthlessness that comes off insensitive at times doesn't look good on him. It's bad because it then creates bad energy. Imagine Cristiano Ronaldo is a role model to almost the entire dressing room at Manchester United. Comes out there in his first season, best scorer of goals for United. Does the things he does. And you let him go, and maybe he was right to let him go, but the manner in which they did it is not what we would expect. Look at how he let go of David De Gea. To date, De Gea is yet to recover. He hasn't got a club yet. So look at how he's dealing with Jadon Sancho. Sancho's situation, we don't know the facts, but this is a child. He's a boy. You could have handled him a little bit, differently. You can't be so ruthless to so many players in such a quick time. And these are somewhat key players, of course, except Sancho, who is a potential that we bought potential. But De Gea and Ronaldo were key players. So that ruthlessness has looked ugly on him and actually hasn't won him so many fans, to be fair. So for me, that's key weakness number 3. Number 4, in terms of Erik Ten Hag and the weaknesses I think he has is his questionable tactics at times. Guys, Erik Ten Hag is good, and I won't really dwell so much on the questionable tactics because, well, not that he's the worst of tacticians. He's not the best, obviously, but it doesn't even matter so much for a United manager to be the best tactically. You just need to be enough, have enough tactics. But Erik Ten Hag has shown to us that his tactics at times can be questioned. Look at case in point, the obvious one, when he was booed and when he substituted Rasmus Højlund in that game against Arsenal, and everyone was thinking, this is our best player. How are you pulling him off when we look like actually we can force a draw in this game? Because I do think, by the way, Erik Ten Hag pulling off Højlund was him relenting, giving in and saying, you know what, we've admitted Arsenal have beaten us. But I feel like we had picked up the rhythm and we actually could have scored 2 quick goals in that game if Højlund stayed there. But pulls off Højlund, and the energy from the 12th player, is sulked up. I mean, the fans just went, oh goodness, what's happening? This is the only hope we had. And he also saw it. I saw his body language. When he pulled him off and people were booing, the way he looked like this, he said he couldn't change it. Probably it was too late for him to say, okay, I'm changing my mind, but also it will share weakness. But he probably saw it and said, okay, I think I'm not doing the right thing. So I think some bit of questionable tactics there. But again, like I said, that's not the biggest of weaknesses because even Sir Alex Ferguson, the greatest manager in football, probably was not the most tactical, to be fair. So yeah, that's the reality. So those are the 4 core weaknesses I have seen in Erik Ten Hag. Those are the 4 core weaknesses I've seen in him. Now, the last one, and this is not his, this is not his. The other weakness that is being forced on him is the fact that he's working with a clueless team. Yeah. To be honest, I don't think John Mata and Richard Arnold, I don't think they're really up to the job, really. I don't think so. I think they're a little clueless, I feel, in terms of how they negotiate contracts. Look at Marcus Rashford, our highest paid player, earning almost £400,000 per week. Can you justify why Rashford should be earning that money? Look at what he's doing. So again, that's not a problem of Erik Ten Hag, but it's a weakness on him now because he's the manager and he should be taking responsibility for everything. So another weakness is the team around him. It's a little clueless, it feels at times. It looks a little clueless. Maybe the bonus weakness would be the signing of Mason Mount. But if the last game versus Crystal Palace in the Carabao Cup is anything to go by, he was probably not the worst of signings if he can keep putting on such performances and be involved in more goals, because he has been involved directly in only one goal so far. Anyhow, that's Ten Hag and his weaknesses for you. Let me know what you think. What are your core weaknesses, or what is that one core weakness you see in Erik Ten Hag that he has got to work on? I'm not saying this it will demonize him to make him look bad to but I'm just pointing out something that perhaps if this video lands on him, he will know there is some United supporter who was open enough to call him out on some of his weaknesses. And Erik, use this information how you like, but there you go, you have it. Subscribe to the hotspot. My name is Webb. Cheers.